So my 50 cal exploded. This is a request coming to us by Fat T-Rex. That's the name, okay? I'm not shaming. Literally the name, Mr. Fat T-Rex. He's the only one who's still in existence. Let's see what this is.
Explain my injuries, and I'm going to do that, but I think it's best we start from the beginning. I know some of you are going to try to skip around in this video. I highly recommend you stay tuned and listen to all of this. But for those who are going to skip around, let me clear something up first. This was not the Barrett that we tortured tested, and this was a complete freak accident. There's nothing that I did to have caused this. So April 9th, 2021, we come out here to shoot a fire hydrant with some slap rounds using my Serbu RN50. So we have the Serbu RN50 with the 36-inch long heavy barrel, and we're gonna go ahead and go big or go home and start out with this. This is a 50 BMG slap tracer round. The slap rounds tend to go a little to the right, so I aimed a little to the left, but this one actually hit true to where I was aiming. We hit right here, and you can see that thing is smoking. And then we blew right through the back of this thing. Everything was going pretty smooth. We shot the fire hydrant several times, but the slap rounds were acting a little funny. One of the slap rounds hit like 1.5 feet low and to the right. I say we hit it with one more slap round, but this time aim for the thickest part of the fire hydrant and see what happens.
Yeah, the flash is larger. Yeah, the muzzle flash was way larger on the second shot. Way larger. 4 times the size.
The gun was functioning normally, as it always had.
Okay, hold up.
So now
what did you say? It's around 4. Yeah, that was where I was going.
I'm gonna actually show you what happened. It's not graphic. All the graphic stuff happened after the fact, and I'm gonna tell you all about that, but I am gonna show you what happened just so you can see what happened to me that day.
He's lucky to still have his arm and then his face, man. God damn. It's in an instant too.
So when I pulled the trigger, the gun exploded almost immediately. So the first thing that went was this cap.
Hold on. God, that's in an instant. Fucking hell.
What happened almost immediately. So the first thing that went was this cap. And this cap is solid steel, and it is very, very heavy. If you look right here, the threads are sheared off of this gun completely. I spoke with Mark Serbu, and he said that normal pressures are 55,000 PSI. And for those threads to have sheared off and this cap to have just blown off like that, we're looking at over 85,000 PSI. So the cap blows off. It's kind of hard to put these on because of my little nose brace. I'll explain. But safety glasses are on. And this
Thank
cap,
God he was wearing them.
you can see this little crescent here. This cap hit me right there. I'm not really sure which way, probably more like this, but it struck me in the face.
If he wasn't wearing that, his eye was
hit me in the
gone.
face. It broke my orbital bone in 3 spots, here, here, and here. It also broke my nose, and that's why I have this on. I've had to have facial surgery to repair all this. Here's the really bad part though. On this lower, normally there's these 2 ears that stick up right here. And this is what prevents you from closing the gun when the cap's not on all the way. If the cap is on all the way, it will fit perfectly right here with those ears pushed up against it. When the cap blew off the gun, it came straight back, shearing those ears off the lower. One of these is still at the hospital, and this is the one we found. This one zipped right past my head, went inside my hat,
Oh god.
blew a hole through it, and took it off my head, what appears 7 to 8 feet. Now the other one
Man,
is
if that
what
hit him here?
almost ended me.
Oh yeah.
The other ear hit me right here in the throat.
God.
It proceeded to lacerate my jugular vein and then punctured a hole in my right lung. As for my hand, my best guess is this is what did it. In the video, you can see that the stock almost disappears instantly. I believe it came in a downward motion and hit my finger. You have your natural bend in your index finger. Well, this bone right here looked like a V. So my finger looked like a big W. So back to the lacerated jugular. I've now been hit in the throat, and I'm not really sure what happened because when this cap hit me in the face, I went blind in my right eye instantly. I have vision coming back now, and they say my eyes should make a full recovery. But in that moment, I went completely blind in this eye, and it was like I had been punched. And I went backwards and I landed on all fours. A lot of you wonder who is behind the camera in my videos. This is my dad. His name is also Scott. If he had not been out here with me,
this is so
that
fun.
would have been it for me.
This is easy to remember. You got a son, what you gonna name him? Well, I'll just name him myself. Scott. Good.
He come running up and he let me know of my injuries because I was still in a daze. I've just been punched in the face by a big metal cap. And he let me know real quick that there was a hole in my neck and I was losing a lot of blood really fast. My dad shoved his thumb into my neck and said, "Put your thumb there."
Good God.
Now that I'm aware of what's going on, I took my left thumb, I took my shirt, wrapped it in my shirt, and I shoved it as far into my neck as possible. I was not aware that my jugular was lacerated, but I did know this is really bad. I have a law enforcement background,
Jesus.
and I've been trained in injuries and wounds and gunshots and things like that. And I know very well that if you get hit in the neck, it's not good because you can't tourniquet a neck. After I had plugged the hole, I applied extreme pressure, pinched my head down into my hand, and made a run for the truck. So the truck here was right near us. There's a trailer attached. I had to run around the front. I jumped in the passenger seat. Dad jumped in, and we took off. And this all happened in a matter of seconds. I would say under a minute. We were in that truck and just hauling
If his dad wasn't there, he'd probably be gone.
tail into town. Something I
Let
forgot
out.
to mention, this upper weighs like 25 pounds. And you can see in the video that it just gets thrown off the table. So much pressure came out the back of this upper that it launched it off the table. It's an insane amount of energy that was thrown into my body. So now we're driving very fast into town. I am applying constant pressure to my throat and I'm breathing very slowly, trying to control my heart rate because the faster your heart rate, the faster you're going to bleed. My dad's driving, so I thought it would be nice of me to call the ambulance. My dad didn't agree with this, but I wanted to do it myself because I wanted to try and stay awake. I needed to be doing something to keep myself conscious. If you have an iPhone, there's this nifty little feature on the side here, and if you hit that button one too many times, it'll call 911. This can be kind of annoying when you're trying to shut off your alarm in the morning, but when there's a lot of bodily fluids on your phone and you can't open it, it comes in really handy. I got on the phone with 911 and I let them know what had happened and that we were coming into town and they were gonna send an ambulance to meet us halfway. There were several times where I thought I was gonna pass out. And I knew if I passed out that that was gonna be it because my dad's driving. If I pass out, who's gonna keep?
What are you talking about? Describing his small accident, bro? This dude's sniper rifle exploded. His neck is lacerated. damn near lost his eye. His orbital was broken. His nose is broken. His left arm is completely incapacitated. What are you talking about? Small accident, bro. A small accident is breaking a finger. This is crazy. He's very lucky to be here.
Keep applying pressure to my neck to keep me from bleeding out. Times like this, you really need something to focus on, and I focused on my kids. I had their faces in my brain, and I just focused on them, and I fought as hard as I could. I stayed conscious the entire time. We met the ambulance halfway, they got me loaded up, and we took off towards the hospital. And like I said, I know that I was in a bad spot, and I don't know if you know this, but if your jugular is completely severed, you have 30 seconds. I knew that being hit in the throat, I may not have much time, but the closer we got to the hospital, the more my confidence built, and I thought, hey, maybe I'm gonna be all right. When I was in the ambulance, I asked them to cut my shirt off because I was having trouble breathing, and I thought maybe I'd been hit in the chest as well. They cut my shirt off, there wasn't anything there, but when I got to the hospital, they x-rayed me, and they said my right lung had collapsed because it had filled with blood, and that was from this little guy here puncturing my lung as well. Damn. So from there, they had to intubate me while I was wide awake, and I tell you, that is not fun. Take this long metal rod with a point on it, and they stick it through your rib cage, and it wasn't fun. After that, I was feeling a little better. I could breathe a little better, and then they wanted me to take my thumb out of my neck, and I was like, we're not taking my thumb out of my neck. I
just say he made a full recovery, and he does nothing but shoot big bore rifles now on his channel. He's a great creator. Recommend watching some of his other. It's very entertaining stuff. Yeah, I'd be traumatized too after something like that. Good God, that is something you don't want. A gun malfunctioning, it could be the end of you, man.
You just wrap it up with some tape. It's stay there. But they told me I had to take my thumb out of my neck, so they had a bunch of gauze and packing, and as soon as I pulled it out, they packed my throat. When I pulled my thumb out, that's when I saw my finger, and they said that I audibly said, oh, that's not good, because my finger looked like a big W. They informed me after that they were gonna have to life flight me to Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. Very, very good hospital with very, very good doctors. Obviously, I'm here making this video. Big shout out to Vanderbilt Hospital. You guys